All right, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. Today we have Manu Gabble with us, and he's going to tell us a little bit why he joined EXP, and more importantly, your transition to the team and what that has done for you. So welcome today. Thank you for being able to come on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Robert. It's an honor and pleasure to be on the live today, and I'm excited to share my journey so far. So definitely can elaborate on how I started as a solo agent and then why I made the decision to switch to a team later on.
Right. So, tell us a little bit about who's Manu and your background a little.
Yeah, sure thing. So my background at the University of Toronto was a economics major. So mainly I studied marketing in a roundabout way. I did a minor in psychology and professional writing. I did have interest in that marketing industry at first, but just, felt it was a little bit shallow and didn't feel like I was making much of an impact by just kind of selling people things. And then I did make a transition to the public relations field in a post-grad certificate. And I thought that would be a little bit more wholesome and giving back to the community. But what I found is a lot of the campaigns that you run in public relations, it does really come down to that bottom line. And shortly after that, I did start working as an event manager at the Rec Room, which was a great job. Got to put on a variety of events and make an impact as far as making sure people had a good time, and their big milestone events that they would hold at that venue went off without a hitch, and everyone had a great time. So one thing that kind of was out of my control was when the pandemic started, I was actually laid off from that job. And during that time, while I was saving up, working there, I had already started doing my research, knowing that real estate was a great way to make long-term wealth. I think one of the statistics that stand out to me is about every 12 years, real estate prices seem to double in the GTA. So I was already looking at options for me to get into real estate. And when the pandemic hit and I was laid off, I'm like, if I can find good deals for myself, I can probably do that for other people as well. And that's what kind of pushed me to get my real estate license during that time. So yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. One door closed and another one opened. And it's I've never looked back. It's a great place for me to be. So I'm very happy with where I'm at now.
Awesome. So when you started as a solo agent, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I didn't have any doubts as far as what brokerage I wanted to join. If you're a newly licensed agent, you need to have a brokerage where you hold your license. But I did start off as a solo agent, and I can elaborate a little bit more about some of the difficulties I had going that route. But eventually I did decide to join that team model.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about the story of how we met and or how you decided to join on the Shoreview team. Tell everybody, because it's pretty, I was impressed with you actually.
Yeah, so as a newly licensed agent, one of the first things that are often recommended to you is, reach out to your sphere of influence and try and get your first transaction under your belt, and first few if you're lucky. So in that regard, I was very grateful and humbled that in my sphere, I was able to do a couple transactions early on in my first couple of months. And that set me up to be able to experience EXPCon in 2021, where I got to travel out to Las Vegas, which was kind of a dream come true for me, especially after joining a new industry and having it go so well. But one thing that really was a huge consideration for me was that I knew that I couldn't always rely on my sphere of influence to bring me business. And I was sort of searching for answers as far as how I can make my business more predictable. So going to EXPCon was a great experience for me, but especially so because I met you there, Robert. I also met Waleed, two key players in the Shoreview real estate team. And one of the things that we discussed at that time was kind of knowing that you're a more established agent. I asked you for your advice to a new agent on what that might sound like. And one of the things you told me that was that joining a team would be beneficial for new agents. So that's something that I wanted to share with others today as well, and how that's helped me.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what does it mean when you say you joined a team? Like, just for people that are not, um, they're not in the know of how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said earlier, with any agent, for you to hold your license, you need to be part of a brokerage. So you can actually work as a solo realtor, which can be a little bit lonely at times.
Mhm.
And I'll touch a little bit more on that as well. But as far as joining a team, you're working with like-minded people in a collaborative effort. And one of the great things about that is you can sort of share with others in terms of your listings and get more exposure that way. You can sometimes delegate some of the business that, if you have an overflow of business among other members, as well as that gives you an opportunity to specialize in the things that you're best at, while having other people pick up areas where you don't have the most success.
Mm-hmm. So, have you noticed a change in your business since you've made the jump to join a team?
Definitely. I think one of the areas that I was maybe struggling with the most was accountability. And I think this is true for most new real estate agents or anyone coming from a different field where it wasn't like an entrepreneurial self-driven background. It's easy to show up for work and clock in when you have a boss, and these are all things that are part of your mandate as far as staying employed. But when you're self-employed, some of those things sometimes become difficult. It's a blessing and a curse, because being your own boss is exciting, and this boss makes his own hours. This boss wakes up when he wants to, but that can also get in the way of your business as well if you don't sort of nail down the right habits, as well as have a structure and routine about your day.
Absolutely. I remember taking a lot of training as well. And I remember on one of them, the coach said, every day we wake up unemployed and we have to go find our next job. Right. And it really stuck with me, because you wake up and you're like, okay, what do you do? What's, what business do I have to do? And you're feeling like, almost in a sense, sometimes you're like, hey, okay, I think it could wait till tomorrow. So you take your foot off the gas for a little bit. So, what was important for you when you were choosing the team to join? Because we kind of talked briefly at EXPCon about that, and like I said, I was impressed in the fact that you were pretty much a brand new agent and you invested in yourself to come out to this trade show. But then, we were talking, what was important for you joining a team, and what were your expectations?
Yeah, certainly, Robert. So one of the things, first of all, that we need to keep in mind with the real estate industry is the statistic is, I think, about 4 out of 5 new real estate agents, they quit the industry in their first 5 years. So if you don't have good habits and people to sort of model your business after, established real estate agents that can sort of show you the way, it can be a difficult thing. And one of the things I struggled with as a new agent is, outside of my sphere of influence, where I have people that already like me, know me, and trust me, what sort of credibility did I bring to the table as far as making a more predictable business with strangers? Because that's what's really going to drive your business in the long run. You could only hound the people you know so often to make transactions happen. And sometimes you don't even have the luxury of knowing people in your market that are going to be looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate. So, in
Absolutely.
terms of credibility, joining a team is a huge asset in terms of you're joining and aligning with people that already have an established track record. So, I think that was really important in terms of credibility, especially in current times. I think almost every prospective client has like an uncle or an aunt or a cousin or a couple of friends they know that are also real estate agents. So really, why would someone want to work with you outside of the fact that they know you and you want to you want to guilt them into becoming your client? But in reality, if you're part of an established and top performing team, something like the Shoreview team that does 200 transactions a year, that recognition really gives you the confidence and credibility to lock in more business.
Mm-hmm. So how has your daily activities changed since joining the team?
So one of the things for me is the sense of community I find with working with a team is that knowing that there's like-minded people working towards a similar goal, and just sort of blending in with those people and doing the same activities has
Mhm.
really changed the outlook for me as far as where my next client is coming from. So what I do now is I'm always hitting the phones, blocking off time for that. If I can, 4 hours a day of making calls and prospecting. Whereas when I was a solo agent, sometimes it wasn't so clear what the money making activities were in my business. I didn't know if I needed to jump on TikTok and like do the videos with all the pointing or how,
Mm.
you know what I mean? So the thing with the real estate industry is that as an agent, you wear so many hats. You got to be the marketer, you got to be prospecting, going to showings. Joining a team has sort of streamlined what I need to do to be successful. And what I realized that is I need to make more contacts and book more appointments. So just having a pool of prospective buyers or people that are interested in real estate to call every single day and just have conversations to book appointments. It's sort of, like I said, streamlined the activity that I need to focus on to get results. And
Mhm.
just having people around me that are doing exactly that so I can listen to their scripting, listen to how they overcome objections. It's just making me a better communicator and a better salesperson, so I can better help my clients as well.
Right. So you think you're doing a better job and better service to your clients now that you have joined a team and there's some systems in place to help you with some of those many items that everybody has to do when they're selling a house. I think our checklist is about 160 items now that we do on every listing alone. So you're finding a lot more clarity on that part.
Definitely. So yeah, that sense of community has been huge for me. As far as just having people to work alongside with, because we know that the nature of the business is it's competitive. It can be very cutthroat, especially when you take the solo agent route. And when no one's really invested in your performance, you could sort of fall through the cracks. And like I said, 4 out of 5 agents quit in their first 5 years if they don't have that support or someone to model the right habits after. So
You
um,
mentioned that you're time blocking and you're making those calls. Are you calling your sphere? Is it team leads? Is it a combination of both? What would you say?
yeah, so my philosophy on that is, as far as my sphere of influence goes, I like to get in touch with them mostly through my socials as well as just text, and it's a lot more casual. We're catching up, and when real estate comes up, I'm happy to serve them in that regard. But as far as when I'm time blocking and making my calls, generally I'm reaching out to the prospective clients that we get together out of our marketing power. So with the Shoreview team, actually, big shout out to Josh Reed.
Mm-hmm.
He's our dedicated or designated marketing guy, and his efforts on the marketing side, as far as running ads and all the things that he does, it gives us not just cold leads to call, but people that have actually raised their hand or responded to some sort of real estate advertising. So that they've actually already shown interest in either buying, selling, or investing in real estate. So it makes it a lot easier, especially with the great tools that we have at eXp Realty, like KV Core, to stay on top of getting in touch with these buyers and sending out mass texts and things like that. So it's through the marketing that these leads are generated, and that's who I'm typically calling during those time blocked hours.
Right. So you're actually speaking with people that are interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate versus cold calling somebody and just saying, "Hey, do you want to sell your house?"
100%. And I think
And
one of the traps that new agents fall into is that they think that, just through social media alone, they can generate all the incoming business they need to sustain their lifestyle and, set them up as far as their career. But the reality of the situation is that, like, if you only have 5 hours to kind of generate new business, and you spend, you know, two of those hours making a video, one of those hours editing that video, and then 2 of those hours after that just twiddling your thumbs, waiting to see like who responds to that. Whereas if you take those 5 hours and just make calls, you know, you're gonna have maybe 10 good conversations with people that were looking to actually buy, sell, or invest, and that takes you a lot further. Whereas the social media definitely has its part, and that's something that can help you build your brand in the long run and eventually get you that incoming business. But in the short term, if you have bills to pay and you need to get something done, the calling is where, you know, the business is going to come from at the end of the day.
So are you taking care of the, you know, creating the social media content and some of the, I'm going to say, activities that would be non-income producing activities in the day-to-day business, or on the team now? Is that more taken care of for you?
It's a little bit of both. We definitely have the benefit of getting content that's ready for the team that every member can share, which is fantastic. But then there is that element of wanting to build your own personal brand as well. So that doesn't fall on the wayside. It's still important for sure. But as far as my focus, I've realized that some of the best agents that do the most business in the industry are not even all that active on social media at all. So it's great to have that public facing side of you, but you can basically run a successful business and not have any social media in the industry, despite what you see online.
So if there was one thing that you could say that you implemented in your business that has changed your business from when you started, what would that be?
The main thing is, I think, just buckling down as far as the training and support that's given me the confidence to make those calls, right? So one thing that I've been able to do well is model some of the calls that I've been doing after someone that's been successful in that space for a long time. So one of our team leaders, as you know, Robert, is Waleed, and he runs from 9:30 to 12 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. He does his lead generation live on his personal Zoom, and just hearing him make the calls and have those conversations and how he overcomes objections and all those things, even doing that remotely, I can tune in and listen to him while I'm making my own calls. And it just really gives me kind of the support as well as the training to do better in that myself as well. So I think that's been the biggest change. And then also working with peers that are doing the same thing, so I can pop into the office and surround myself with the energy and type of focus that is also getting results.
Awesome. Yeah, Waleed is amazing at that. I've tuned into some of those calls, and I find that the more you practice, and I always say, like, we shouldn't be practicing on our clients, right? We shouldn't be practicing. We should practice to make perfect, and then go and do that job for our clients, so that we nail it every time. So it's really reassuring. And actually, when you see people booking appointments, and you know, Waleed's great, and there's so many people on the team that are making calls and booking appointments, and I'm just impressed myself of how much conversions that they can do. So it's really great to see. So who do you think, in your opinion, should join a team? Is a team, you know, for somebody that's like a brand new agent that needs to do something, or what about an experienced agent? What's your opinion on that?
So I think with a more experienced agent, they could definitely benefit from joining a team as well. And the reason for that is, I think the ability to have the support staff, like an admin or marketing person, takes some of that work off your plate, so that you could better specialize in what you're good at. I think there's a huge benefit to doing that as well. And in terms of specializing, that could be their own niche as far as what type of properties they want to specialize in. So whether they want to do, like, say, waterfront properties, I think you're more able to do that in a team environment. Whereas as a solo agent, you have to probably branch out and kind of take business where you'll get it to sort of establish yourself more so. Whereas if you wanted to really designate that specialty in a certain type of property, you can do that. So whether that was like condos or waterfront properties or anything of that nature, but as well as specialize in the skills that are going to be those ones that convert business for you. So becoming a better communicator and salesperson is going to be an easier thing to accomplish when you don't have to focus on also being the marketer and the person, going on all the showings or calling all the leads. Like, you're going to get better at what you do well when you can take some of the other things off your plate as well.
Well, that was one of the things that I kind of struggled with because, when I got in the business, a lot of people don't want to take on new agents. So they're like, get experience first and then learn the business and then we'll talk to you. But then at that point, you're thinking, okay, do I need to join the team at this point? Because I know what to do. So it was a real struggle for me to really figure out what the fit is and what the value of a team was at the point. And now obviously I see it, like, even for myself, there's days where, if I didn't have Josh and the support staff in the back end to make sure that some of those things would be happening, I just couldn't do as many deals as I do, right? I couldn't get the everything done in a day because there's just so much to do. So I really think that there's a benefit, but it's really challenging because you get these newer agents that want to join a team or not sure to join a team. And that's why I commend you for actually coming out and saying, hey, I want to interview for the team. And I think this would bring my business to the next level. And we are picky when we're talking to newer agents. We want to make sure that there is a good fit and that they have the dedication and are willing to be coached and accountability. But there's that balance for that newer agent. We get that question a lot. So I just wanted your perspective of what you thought.
Right. And I think one of the other benefits, whether you're a new agent or a more established agent, is with the team, you have that shared database. So from the marketing side, all the leads that have been generated, as well as everyone, every client that the agent has worked with in the past or added to the database from their own sphere. This whole extended database, especially the way KV Core is organized, it's categorized. So you know who's looking in certain areas like Guelph or Hamilton and so on and so forth. So what that does is that when we have a new listing that hits the market, we can shop that around exclusively as well before the property actually goes on the market. So to have the ability to shop a property just within your own database, it actually increases the probability that you can maybe even double end the deal. And obviously that's a great benefit for the agent, but it could also be a great benefit for the client that doesn't necessarily want to go through the hassle of putting the property on the market. So I think that's a really exciting thing as well. That's not really possible if you're a solo agent.
Do you find that helps you, when you're on a team and we have many listings, do you find that when you mention that to a client that's maybe potentially looking to hire a buyer's agent for say, do you find that they find a benefit in working with you because you potentially have some listings that are coming up that maybe nobody knows about?
Yeah, most certainly. As we know, it's been in the past couple of months or even dating back for the last couple of years, a very hot market. So often what we found was that buyers that are just shopping on the market were either getting frustrated from being constantly outbid and just with every listing being so competitive. When you have the ability to show them properties that are not going up in multiple offers, but we just know what the seller needs and what the buyer needs, and you can just match that up for them, it's a way smoother process for the agent as well as the client. So it's definitely a huge benefit in my opinion.
Manu, you touched on something about the shared database. So can you explain that are your leads are, do you have your own leads or is it all team leads now? How does that work?
Yeah, so actually one of the first things when I joined the team, Rob, you asked me about how much of my database was already, put into my KV Core. And before you gave me access to a pool of leads that were generated by the team, you asked me to input my own database. So my database belongs to me,
Mm-hmm.
but through the marketing efforts and the campaigns that we run, they get the same access to new developments and properties that are hitting the market as the team leads. So they are two separate pools, but they both get access to the information and the campaigns that we put out. So one of the exciting things that happened for me early on was when you asked me to put my database in, and I got some numbers and emails plugged in of people that I knew. Um, Very early on, somebody messaged me about a property or new development that we had access to, and they had just received an automatic email from the marketing side of things that our team runs behind the scenes. So it wasn't something that I had directly reached out to that client for. Didn't even know they were perhaps looking to buy an investment property, but because they got the emails from our campaign, they reached out to me about that particular property, and we got them access to that one. So
Awesome. So you got the deal done.
almost effortlessly, which was
And
amazing.
you had no idea, and it was probably somebody in your sphere. And I bet you, if if I said, "Hey, Manu, call a few people and ask them if they're interested," I bet you wouldn't have called them because you wouldn't want to bother your sphere,
That's true.
right?
Yeah, and just the other day too, a friend reached out to me and he said, "Thanks for sending me all these properties. Like, I love that I can stay on top of what's coming to the market." And
Mhm.
the funny thing about that is, like, I haven't had to do that personally as far as send out those emails. It's all just kind of taken care of. So it's definitely a huge benefit.
That's really good. I know you touched about it a little bit, but like, who would you say should join a team?
So I think there are those agents out there that they just prefer to be lone wolves and accountable only to themselves. Kind of move to the beat of their own drum. So that's all fine. But I think anyone that needs support to help grow their business, they maybe need some camaraderie as far as collaborating with a team, um, and don't always have the time to just grow their business alone. And like I said, wear all those different hats that kind of are involved in being a realtor, as well as like having to handle all the administrative work and paperwork sometimes, or the marketing tasks. Joining a team could definitely be a game changer for those people.
Mhm. So do you find that you have more time for yourself now that you're on the team, or do you find that you're working harder because you are more accountable?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's a little bit of both for sure. I'm working harder because you know being in a team where everyone is doing well, it really pushes me to do better and actually put more focus on my business and treat it like one.
Mhm.
Whereas I think I was a little bit more casual about it when I was a solo agent. And it's not that I didn't want to succeed in the business, but it can be difficult when you just don't know what the right tasks are that are going to actually grow your business. And I think what a lot of new agents, the issue that they fall under is like they chase the next shiny object. So whether that's like making reels or jumping on TikTok, making videos, whatever it might be. But as far as following in the footsteps of people that have already been successful in the industry, I think that's been the biggest benefit for me. And
Mhm.
seeing how hard they work, I've definitely started to push myself more. But on the other hand, it also gives me the ability to have a better work-life balance or focus on the things that are important to me, or make the things that make me a better salesperson, which is what's going to drive my results. Whereas some of the other things do get taken off my plate. So it is a little bit of both, but it's great in both ways.
Awesome. Awesome. And what advice do you have for anyone that's looking to get into the real estate business?
The advice that I would give to a new agent is essentially align yourself with people that are already doing well in the business. And oftentimes, if you are a solo agent and you want to align yourself with another solo agent, like you said, somebody that's already doing well in the business, they're not going to take time out of their day to take you under their wing when they don't have a vested interest in your success. But on the other hand, when you're joining a team or a brokerage like EXP, you have a vested interest in the people that you bring on, and you want to see them do well as support them. So in that way, I think joining a team has just been a game changer for me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's really good. Do Do you have any other comments that you want to make or questions that maybe you want to ask me in front of the camera? This is not scripted at all. So anything you want to ask me now, Manu, go ahead.
Okay, let me see. No, you know what, Robert? I think we pretty much covered everything for today. But as far as joining a team, I hope we definitely gave some people clarity on why that might be the right choice for them.
Right.
And then as far as any questions anyone has about EXP Realty, I think they can reach out to either myself or you directly, and we can definitely show them why that's a great opportunity as well outside of being on a team.
Sure. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I figured maybe you might have something that I might have missed. But that's a great point. If anybody has any questions and you're a newer agent, like Manu has a lot of hustle and he's doing the right things. And that's why we wanted to align with you. So if you have any questions, reach out to Manu. We'll post his socials and all that stuff. And actually, he does some really good videos, even though he says it's not important. When we went to that condo launch, which was amazing.
That 699 launch was amazing. Yeah, you could definitely see the highlights of that on my Instagram. But like Rob said, he'll plug me in with my social tags and stuff. So
sure, Manu put that all together, which was awesome. And if anybody has any questions, if they have a team and they want to expand the team, our team grew actually very quickly. Thanks to a lot of the support that we've had at EXP and the coaching that we've been given, and a lot of the tools. Like KV Core is a game changer. It really was for us. So if anybody has any questions about how to grow a team or they're thinking about joining a team, you can reach out to me as well, and we can take it from there. All right. One last question. What do you have a favorite book, movie?
Okay, so as far as a favorite movie, I'm gonna probably say for me it's probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But for something that's a little bit more current, the new Batman movie, I absolutely loved it with Robert Pattinson. So if all you know about him is his time from like Twilight and things like that, it's definitely worth checking out. He did make a great young Batman. As far as a book, probably pulled this one out here.
Nice.
Think and Grow Rich, absolute classic. Very cliche as far as favorite books go, but as far as the focus on your goals and waking up with purpose every single day, that's a great one to help you nail that down.
All right. Well, thanks, Manu. Thanks for taking the time to just let everybody know your story and opening up to people. I really appreciate it. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the team.
My pleasure. Thank you, Robert.
All right. Thanks, guys.